Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Captain America Symbol of Truth, Issue 3. And we're getting there. I enjoyed this issue, however, from the cover you're like, face the justice of Doctor Doom. This doesn't really focus that much on Doom. Like, we do understand and get fallout from Doom confronting them in the previous issue, but there wasn't, like, a lot that was kind of done with it. I mean, granted, I'm glad that it doesn't, like, derail the story, but it almost felt really weird of, like, why is Doom even involved here? You know, like, I guess we're just checking in and seeing what kind of White Wolf is trying to do and get, I guess, other kind of countries involved. So we pretty much start off. My main thing that I really enjoyed in this issue was pretty much Joaquin's kind of side. It's really kind of strange. Hopefully, we get more, at least for me, interesting stuff going on with Sam's bits as we'd have with Joaquin's. But we see that Doom's pretty much laying out the list of like all the charges against Sam of like clandestine operations, trespassing, illegal weaponry, killing or treacherously wounding a combatant adversary, espionage, and then he asks how the Wilsons kind of like, how do you plead? And we see Deadpool doing his stuff. But the thing is, Deadpool is a hard character to write for. And not that I hate this Deadpool, but a lot of this stuff is like, okay, Deadpool's kind of quirky and kind of crazy, being like, I didn't know that stuff was illegal. And Sam's just pretty much like, my beef's not with you. We have reason to believe there's illicit contraband being smuggled into or through Latveria. And Deadpool's bringing up, Sam's bringing up vibranium, he's bringing up Topps trading cards. And Deadpool's like, you're like the worst spy ever. And Sam's just being very straightforward with it, which I like. I mean, out of this thing going on, I do like that Sam's like, listen, I'm here because of this. Like, actually fucking explaining it to Doom. And that actually works. Like, the thing is, Doom, for all of his villainous and arrogant kind of things that he does, if you do explain a certain concept to him, he's going to get it. Because he's like, I'm telling you this as a courtesy. You wouldn't approve of smugglers operating in Latveria without your consent. It brings up the whole stuff that was going on in the U.S.-Mexico border. And Doom's like, if you just talked to me, my security services would have been happy to help. However, you're like, okay, Doom's security services really wouldn't fucking, like, give the information that would have been needed. And then pretty much hits him for, like, the humanitarian food and supplies that are needed because of sanctions by your country. It's like, sanctions aren't my department, but I'll see that you'll get your aid. And the thing is, Doom pretty much releases him because Sam's like, yeah, I'll make sure that you get the aid that you need. And Doom's like, listen, you're going to carry a message. The next illegal incursion into Latveria will be answered. And Deadpool's like, hey, Cap, wait up. And Deadpool stays. So it's like, okay, Deadpool's going to get screwed over by Doom, but that's kind of Deadpool's kind of shit. So we see that Latveria was a dead end, and they were able to gather some intel. Sam's like, all right, it's vibranium. At least we know it's smuggled, so we at least know it's coming from Wakanda because that's going to be like the main source of vibranium. And we learned that as he's talking to Mansfeld, that Wakanda is accepting applications for visas and what that would kind of mean. Mansfeld is like saying, hey, there's got to be covert operations, and Sam's like, no, I want to do this legit through Wakanda because Wakanda's an ally, or you would think that you would want to treat Wakanda as an ally. And of course, the senator brings up that their leadership is a little fluid at the moment. Now, granted, I haven't been reading Black Panther, but I do know that there's a lot of crazy shit in that. And T'Challa is not in charge at the moment. But Sam's like, I'm going to do this right. We're going to go through communications and do that. And he's like, your wish is my command, Captain America. We switch over to Joaquin and Luisa. And he's like, listen, I'm taking you away to pretty much a S.H.I.E.L.D. safe house that was pretty much there. And he's pretty much trying to apologize to her. He's trying to, like, get any kind of information out of her if she remembers anything. They were on a bus. It got filled with gas. And then he gives her pretty much a thing that'll reach out to him or Cap. and press it, and we'll come straight to your location. It actually sends a signal to Red Wing, and I'm like, yay, name drop of Red Wing. I'm like, yes. All right. Then we get to Sing Sing Correctional Facility as Sam is talking to someone named Cam, and evidently they kind of like have a past or whatnot of what's kind of been going on, and he pretty much is going on the white supremacist weapon smuggling kind of angle to see if there's any kind of information that's kind of going on through there. And of course his friend knows about the vibranium, and he's like, so you have heard something. But his friend's like not really direct. Like, there was a lot of noise about the Wakandan Forever movement. Things were kind of getting political, but then some kind of order came down for like the Neos to stop like agitating or whatnot, and to back off and to let the activists do their thing. And it's interesting that the anti-Wakandan kind of talk died down quickly. And he of course brings up African Americans wanting to emigrate to Wakanda, and what's that going to have to do with them? And of course it's like freedom, not being caged and everything like that, and to like feel safe. And it's like, okay, we'll kind of have to see how this kind of works out, and that's freedom, and some people can't help but hate that you want that. So that's an interesting kind of aspect. We'll see how that kind of works out and flows throughout the story. And we see that we're at Nogales, Mexico, and he says that he pretty much learned that there's nobody here to protect you, no one to watch over you, feel safe. I can do that now, and that Joaquin's got Luisa, and he's kind of watching this place that's kind of similar. We then shift and we see that Sam is pretty much talking to the Wakandans. Let's see. Prime Minister Folasade, Princess Shuri. Let me see. Who else? He, of course, is bringing up the vibranium. They're like, all right, can you give us the intel? He's like, and please don't say you're unable to, like, provide that intelligence. He, of course, gives them pretty much everything. Just like, okay, if you need help and want help, you're going to have to, like, trade your information. And that there was no vibranium recovered. There's an unknown amount, like, in hands of probably criminal organizations. We don't know where it's being held. And they want to... Sam wants to launch a joint operation to uncover it. And Wakanda's like, we can't allow this. Wakandan sovereignty is paramount. And, Wakandan jurisdiction is ironclad. And they're going to do it absent the involvement of foreign powers. It's like, the thing is, the stuff that's going on in Wakanda is affecting people in America. So, like, we need your help. Like, they're hurting Americans. You need our help. If we don't work together on this, your pride will get your people killed. And of course, they pretty much say we'll not tolerate any incursions on Wakandan soil. So we'll kind of see how that goes. And Sam's like, I get the territorial sovereignty, but we're not talking about sending troops. We're just talking about sending me. And of course, the senator's like, well, joint operation's not our only play here. And we see that he then goes for the application for a visa to get into Wakanda, which, yeah, that's an interesting kind of way to go about it. And that the White Wolf's like, 2 birds, 1 vibranium stone. And we see that Joaquin is seeing the gas mask and everything, utilizing his kind of tech and stuff to kind of see in, flying in to try and see what's kind of going on. But they see that there's like an invisibility shield, so that's why Luisa couldn't tell where they were. But we see that he gets targeted and gets zapped. And he's like, oh, what do you know? Just like White Wolf said, put this birdie in the cage, in the basement, on a crossbones. You want us to do, want us on guard duty? And we see that it's Crossbones pretty much like doing what he's doing. And I need you all guarding the Wolf's vibranium. Can't have anyone sneaking it out. Keep the Falcon far from the goods. As we see that Luisa's got a vibranium stone in her shoe, which I'm like, oh, okay. And that there's a mountain of vibranium in Mexico. So we'll have to kind of see what kind of goes on with that. So we've got Joaquin captured in Mexico. We've got Sam trying to get into Wakanda to get into the vibranium smuggling operation that way, because that's the only way it's kind of getting out. And we, of course, know that White Wolf and Crossbones are doing their kind of stuff, so we'll kind of see what kind of goes on here. So I enjoyed the Joaquin kind of stuff because he was more active in doing his kind of reconnaissance, and I kind of wanted more stuff going on with Doctor Doom and Sam because that would have been a very interesting kind of character dynamic to kind of deal with and kind of see. Doom, I think the writer had a more kind of good handle on Doom versus what we've had on Deadpool. So I was still kind of disappointed on the Deadpool kind of. He's a hard character to write for, so I don't think that it's the completely worst thing ever. It's just, it doesn't feel like he needed to be in this story and added very little to it. And Sam going through all the different kind of stuff that he was doing, like reporting to Mansfeld. Let's see. Mansfeld. Yes, Mansfeld. And trying to kind of like get other kind of information on what's kind of going on and actively dialoguing with the Wakandan government was really nice. Like, I liked that tactic was taken, even though it didn't ultimately bear fruit. It was a cool kind of character thing to see that Sam's like, I'm not gonna bullshit. Granted, in the espionage kind of stuff, laying out all your cards is not usually advised. I do like that he is attempting to give the information that he can and try and get cooperation going, because that is usually the best kind of way to kind of do things. So we'll kind of have to see how this works out and how trying to get into Wakanda through the visa application is going to affect his relationship with Wakanda and like T'Challa, Shuri, all that kind of stuff, and what the fallout's going to be for that. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.